And welcome now, dear friends, to the Wednesday edition of Fresh Bread. It is Wednesday, October 11th, 2023, midway point of the week. This is Reverend Phil Anderson here with you, pastor of Oakland and Kansas Avenue United Methodist Churches here in the capital city of Kansas, good old T-Town, Topeka. Hey, I told you yesterday we were going to talk a little bit about something I came across today. And, I love to see resources that are made available online that are actually free. Just go on there and see what's available. And that's really my desire, is that anything we ever would do to facilitate the spread of the gospel would always be done in a way that everybody would have access to it. And one of those things I found today had to do with how to lead a small group. And it was on the Living on the Edge website. You might check that out. Just type in Living on the Edge. It's with Chip Ingram, and I listen to Chip a lot of times. I'm going into work at 4 in the morning. He's on Bot Radio Network from 4 a.m. to 4:30 a.m. So I listen to his messages. I get the last maybe 15 minutes of it or so, or part of that last 15 minutes as I'm heading into work. Hey, I want to tell you, he's got a really good resource on how to become a small group leader. And I've led lots of small groups. I really have. I go back and I think, my goodness, I probably led more than I thought I did. A lot of them were with youth groups, but I did adult Bible studies. I was in adult Bible studies. I picked up some of the really good points on how to lead them and, maybe some things not to do. For instance, I didn't have a time limit. I was in one out in San Diego that, unfortunately, it's just like one time, it started at 6:30 on a Monday night, and we'd be there till 9:30, and pretty soon people just quit coming. You can't keep people that long, in many cases, unless they all agree on that's what they're going to do. So, just little things like that you kind of learn by observing that, hey, that didn't work necessarily. It wasn't anything wrong. It was just the value of just how to implement the sort of the structure for it. And so I was looking at this free resource. We were talking about free resources yesterday, which I said, man, I'm all in for that, because that's what I want to do with anything I do, is just make it available. If somebody wants to kick in a little bit of support to run the website, to help with postage, hey, I'm okay with that. But I also do know that there's a lot of people who do a lot of good for the community, and they do it without asking a dime. And I'm talking about maybe even the Christian community. So what I want to share with you tonight is how we can develop these small groups. It's really hard as a leader, and I'm still learning how to be a leader in many respects of a larger congregation. And part of that is learning how to change the culture a little bit. And it takes a lot of time. And, you don't turn around a big ship on a dime. It takes a while to just even get it ready to turn. And so that's the goal here, is to continue to work on new things that I think God's got for us. But it's got to be something that people see the light, if you will. I've got to somehow communicate things in such a way that people want to do it. So I'm almost always thinking about that. You guys know, if you've been around at all this year in 2023, and you've been even just reading the bulletins, you've seen that we've done all kinds of different stuff this year. We've had programs we've tried to do on the weeknights. We've had programs we've tried to do on the weekends, and some of those we just had to let go by the wayside. And some of it was done because there was maybe a lack of participation, and others were let go in the sense of me finding out that that's just not a good time for most folks, And so I'm okay with that. I'm not going to try to pound that square peg in a round hole, believe me. But I do want your input. So if you have ideas, let me know. I would like to change the culture in the churches so that we can start some small groups. And I'm going to talk about that more tomorrow. So you want to make sure you come back on Thursday, because we're going to talk about the value of these small groups. And we might even continue this discussion for a couple of days. So come back Thursday for more Fresh Bread. Until then, may God richly bless you, is my prayer. Have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you, hopefully, God willing, tomorrow.